Is a clone of Superman enough to stop him? Because at this point, we've tried everything. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations of the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Year 5 is pacing out a bit different than we originally thought and differently from the rest of the years. So, since they have apparently extended the issues past when we originally thought they were going to end, and I literally get a request for more injustice about once every 10 minutes, it's time to do another chapter. In the beginning, disaster happened. The Joker tricked Superman into killing Lois Lane and his own unborn child. He then murdered the Joker and decided to force peace on the world. No more fighting, by the words of Superman. Batman wasn't about to have that because he felt forcing the Earth into a militant state was wrong. Their battle began as superheroes picked sides, and as each year has gone on, things have gotten progressively worse. We are now on year 5. Batman is in hiding, Damian is on Superman's team, and there is a clone of Superman flying around. Damian walks downstairs into the Batcave, where he informs Alfred that Batman's never going to use this cave again. It's pointless to clean it up. Alfred disagrees, and Damian asks him, honestly, do you think that Batman can stop Superman? How can you possibly pick Batman over Superman? And Alfred tells him he shouldn't measure himself against Batman or Superman. Damian shouldn't as well. Then he wants to know, why is Damian here? To debate Batman versus Superman? The world's a safer place due to the regime, Alfred. You can't deny that. But at what cost? Alfred asks him, as Damian looks at the cases containing the Robin's costumes, except that Nightwing's costume is missing. Alfred explains that it went missing a few years ago, and he asks Damian if he knows anything about that. Damian tells him, no idea, and he walks out of the Batcave. But before he goes, he asks, why do you think Batman's going to win this? And Alfred tells him, because Bruce is smarter and fearless. Superman's always been governed by fear. He will always be afraid, and that's why he'll lose. Meanwhile, Catwoman and Harley are stealing some jewels because Catwoman tells Harley that she quit the insurgency. And as they try to escape with their new haul, they run into Damian. Harley turns to Catwoman to ask what she wants to do about this, and that's when he throws a baton to the back of Harley's head. Catwoman jumps in, calling him a coward, and he tells her, it's strategy, you should try it sometime, as she swipes at his side, cutting him up, and then jumps off the building. Damian follows after her as Harley is rubbing the back of her head, and then Damian corners Catwoman, telling her to stop running from the regime, and she tells him that she wasn't. She was letting Harley get away with the score. Then, Damian decides to ask her why she quit. She throws tear gas in his face, telling him that she's doing her own thing now, something that he should consider. And she leaves him standing there, still thinking about things like how he's standing against his father with Superman, and how he is to blame for the death of Nightwing, even though it was a mistake, and how he doesn't know where he belongs. He comes crashing down in front of Gotham's baddies: Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, Black Mask, Tweedledum, Tweedledee, and Man-Bat. It really isn't challenging for him to drop each and every one of them, even when they try to attack him all at the same time. But eventually, they get more of their henchmen to arrive, and the whole group finally gets the better of him as they beat him down. And that's when Nightwing, Dick Grayson, begins to float overhead. Ever since year 3, Dick has become the new Deadman, and using his powers of possession, he saves Damian's life. Damian blacks out and he wakes up with Cyborg tending to him and a package nearby with a letter. What are you waiting for? Happy birthday, signed Dick. In the box is the old Nightwing costume. As Dick watches over Damian, Superman comes into the room and Dick remembers Bruce's biggest fear is that Damian would be seduced by the darkness. Who would have thought that it would be Superman? The next day, Superman gets a report about a new resistance movement, one invoking the name of Joker, and they're assembling over in Gotham City. They want to use the name of the Joker to stand up against the regime, but Batwoman breaks into their latest meeting and Harley is in there already. They explain that the Joker is a psychopath, and if this group is willing to drop the name of the Joker, they can work together with the insurgency. The leader tells them that he needs to talk to his followers, and Batwoman and Harley leave, only to have Superman break through the ceiling and use his heat vision to roast everyone alive. Meanwhile, the clone of Superman, Bizarro, is currently with Trickster, his one and only friend. Trickster is trying his best to explain to Bizarro that the other Superman is a bad Superman, and he should get rid of him. He offers to help Bizarro, since, you know, they're friends forever. And Bizarro sneezes and blows out a wall, almost killing Trickster. So Trickster explains to him, you need to cover your mouth with your hands when you're going to sneeze. It's only polite. Then he tells Bizarro that he's hungry, and he explains what a hamburger is. The two bestest friends in the world fly over to a Big Belly Burger, where Bizarro declares that the new better Superman likes burgers. But when some local thugs get irritated because Bizarro threw his trash onto a guy's head, Trickster ends up getting into a fight with them and winning. When one of the thugs pulls out a gun on his friend, Bizarro uses his heat vision to roast the guy. Trickster tries to explain that he really appreciates the help, but Bizarro can't be killing people around all of these witnesses. So Bizarro declares, "No more witnesses!" burning everyone there. He then grabs the Trickster and he launches into the sky to get away. Since Trickster is acting angry, Bizarro asks him, "Still mad?" "I told you I ain't mad." "Seem mad." "I'm not." "Sure?" "Damn it, I told you I'm not mad." Bizarro asks him, "You no friend anymore?" And Trickster apologizes. He explains that this is his fault for not being clear, and they're gonna be pals forever. With that, they continue to fly until Bizarro has to sneeze. He takes both his hands and he covers his mouth, and then smirking, he says, "Did good, me cover mouth," only to realize he dropped Trickster. He looks down and he sees Trickster's smeared body across the rocks, very obviously dead. Hal Jordan flies over the destroyed Big Belly Burger to report that it looks like Superman himself did this, and Superman tells him it has to be an imposter. While Cyborg begins looking for him, Bizarro flies back to the old man that helped him when he first arrived, begging the old man to fix his friend. The old man tells him that he can't, and Bizarro refuses to listen. "Fix!" The old man tries to call for help, but Bizarro stops him, and the Cyborg gets a report about the fake Superman. The real Superman flies over there, tearing down the wall, demanding to know where he is. Because Bizarro went to Lex Luthor himself, demanding, "Fix!" Lex is confused, and Bizarro tells him, "You made me! You and me, father!" Lex is even further confused because yes, he made the clone, but the clone shouldn't know that. He then comes up with an excuse. "I found you in the ice. You crash landed here from a far, far away planet." He then asks Bizarro to walk into a test tube while he, figures out how to fix Trickster. Lex needs to figure out a way to get rid of this clone because if Superman ever finds out that he's behind it, it's going to be the death of Lex. At that exact moment, he gets a report that the Flash is here to talk to him. Thinking fast, Lex sends Bizarro to his, home. Yes, that's where you'll find your origin. The place he leads him to is the Fortress of Solitude. Then as the Flash is sitting in his office, Lex activates the Seek and Destroy protocol. As Bizarro walks into the Fortress of Solitude, he is excited. Is he home? When Doomsday hits him from behind! Cyborg reports it to everyone. Lex found the clone and no one's going to believe this. He's in the Fortress of Solitude. Bizarro and Doomsday go back and forth with Bizarro confused until Doomsday launches him into the sky and then jumps after him, slamming him back down into the snow. Superman arrives telling Lex that he found them, and then he asks Lex if he has control of Doomsday. Once they caught Doomsday, Lex puts some mind control on him, and he warns Superman that as Superman is also there, it might confuse the programming in Doomsday. As Bizarro gets back up, he sees Superman and he tells him, "Superman, we have brothers!" Until Doomsday smashes him from behind again. Superman asks him, "You expect me to stand here and spectate, Lex?" And Lex tells him, "If you want to see what this mind control is capable of, yes, fine, Lex, but let me be clear. I want this clone alive." Bizarro and Doomsday go back and forth, and Lex thinks to himself, the programming is holding. Doomsday can tell the difference between his targets, but somehow, he's still losing to this clone. Superman sees the same thing. Doomsday is losing, so he decides to fly in to ensure the imposter is properly disposed of. He cracks Bizarro over the jaw, throwing him back, and then he stands in front of a controlled Doomsday. That's when Lex sees his chance. He changes Doomsday's targets to all. He then slams Superman from behind at that moment. Cyborg reports that Doomsday hits Superman. "What is happening, Lex?" And Lex tells him, "I told Superman to stay out of this. It'll confuse the programming." While Superman begins to battle against Doomsday, Bizarro gets back up. "Superman hit me!" And then he jumps back in, beating on Superman. "So me hit Superman!" Both Bizarro and Doomsday begin to beat down Superman, and Lex thinks to himself, "I only have to watch at this point." While Cyborg is reporting that backup is on its way. He watches them beat down Superman over and over, and he sits there thinking, this is it. I just stand here. But then he finally decides that he is not a murderer, and he puts Doomsday back on Bizarro only, just as the Flash grabs Superman out of that mess. Doomsday gets a chokehold on Bizarro, and he grasps his skull tight. Bizarro struggles, telling himself, "Hurts so much! Pain hurts!" And then Superman hears a crunch as Doomsday kills Bizarro. Superman runs over. No! But it's too late. He picks up Bizarro's body, and he carries him back to LexCorp, where he throws him on Lex's desk, and he tells him, "I wanted him alive. Run every test you have and let's figure this out." He then leaves Lex alone. This is not the end of year 5. Actually, the original reports that we read stated that it was supposed to end on issue 24, but now it's conveniently still going, and they just announced Injustice 2. I have a feeling it was planned that way. So what we're going to do now is tell you a bunch of the Injustice side stories while we're waiting for year 5 to finish so we can give you the last part of this. I hope you guys enjoy, and I am sorry if you wanted us to wait for the entire thing to end, but you can go ahead and blame all of the people who won't stop asking for this. I'm Benny the Comicstorian, and if you enjoy comic books, don't forget to check out our manga channel, where we bring you manga every Monday and Friday, Comicstorian, and our gaming channel, where we bring you gaming comic books every Friday. That's Eligible Monster. I'm on Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.